guys, how are you? Hope you're doing great. Before we start today, I have a question for everybody. What games are you playing right now besides Raid? Just curious. Me, I'm playing the new Path of Exile season and I'm having a lot of fun. And I'm also playing that Balatro game where it's like a roguelite poker game, and that's really fun. So anyway, back on topic, but I was just curious, so let me know about that one. Today, I'm talking about a champ that is so nice, I leveled her twice. And if you know me, this is a big deal because I don't like doing stuff that I find boring in Raid. Like, it's the reason I haven't finished Faction Wars. It's the reason why I don't do, like, PvP. It's the, like, there's so many things that I'm ignoring because I'm just not interested in them. So 99% of the time, I would rather level a cool, new, fun champ, even if, like, balance-wise, they're not the most, the best champ or the most broken champ in the game. I'd still rather try something new. So the champ is Uugo. Very anticlimactic, I know, but you guys already saw the title, so. So let's take a look at the kit first of all. Like, what's so cool here, I guess? A1 has a chance to place Leech. A2, Maelstrom Whack. 75, well, everything books up to 100, right? 100% chance to place decreased defense and block buffs. Very good ability. And we've got a little heal here on the A3. We'll remove all heal reduction debuffs in addition to one more debuff from all allies, and then heals by 20% of Uugo's max HP. Kind of a cute little passive on this one. If all allies are dead, revives them with 50% HP, then fills their turn meters by 50% instead. Very rarely comes into play in my experience, but every now and then you'll see this go crazy in like a, super clutch and like a Hydra fight or maybe some weird cursed city thing that you're doing. So kind of cute little passive, but probably, irrelevant most of the time. Like this champ is not a reviver by any means. This is super, super situational. And then this is part of this little passive also, basically. So it's giving you, if you're the last one living, it places you 30% increased speed and a block damage buff on you. And then that way you have a better chance to do this, basically. So this is like an all around situationally good, or situationally is the wrong word. This is just an all around good champ in most situations. Decreased defense, 100% chance, that's a consistently useful ability throughout the early game of Raid, the mid game of Raid. Wow, maybe I shouldn't have done a video today since I can't talk. But yeah, decreased defense, constantly relevant, will never not be relevant at any point in Raid. It's just always going to be a thing. The Leech is actually super useful if you're doing like a single target boss fight because your champions can heal off that a lot with War Master, stuff like that. So Leech, definitely not an underrated debuff. And then, of course, there's also this little added, heal, which is also super useful. And, in addition to the guaranteed remove of heal reduction and a debuff on top of that. So definitely a super good jack of all trades, just can throw this champion anywhere and it's not going to be bad. Like, for example, this is like one of the first like good champs I got. So like if you're just on something like normal dragon, like dragon 20, like there's no, I think my team was like Uugo and just sort of like basic early game champs that you would kind of have, like Kale, like Diliana was like the login champ, so it was like Diliana. And so like, I mean, you can see that obviously where I am at the game now, this isn't like a super, super strong, amazing team. You might have like an epic nuker, you might have like Magnar. So it's not like a super strong, amazing team, but like you can just put this team into, this champion into so many situations and they're going to be good there with the decreased defense, the block buffs, and a little bit of a heal. So it's just sort of kind of jack of all trades, good in a lot of situations champion. The reason I have two of them is definitely more of a late game Hydra thing. So we will talk about that. First, let me show you the Masteries also. I can't like talk and look at things at the same time. And you guys might say posting YouTube videos is a terrible idea, but yes, you're right. But okay, so I actually, like I was kind of alluding to, one of these I used in like the very early game because I pulled in Uugo and my friend was like, wow, that's a really good champ. And yeah, you know, just started throwing them into things with the decreased defense and the heal. So this is my original Uugo. I guess I'm definitely doing different things with the Masteries. This is definitely a champion that you could do, go a lot of directions with it. So when I first built the champion, I did what so many raid players do, and I just looked up like some, you know, YouTuber, or maybe it was like Hell Hades website or Ayumi Love or whatever the heck. I just looked at that. And in, you know, the past couple of years playing raid, I've never thought to myself like, dang, I really wish those Uugo Masteries were different, you know? So something like this is absolutely fine. You know, you've got sort of like it looks like this actually targeted the heal on this side. The healing. And then it comes down, this is a really important one. I would say no matter what you do, you should definitely get the chance to extend the debuffs, because that's super important in high level content, that the block buffs be extended as long as possible. So would say no matter what you do, get that. This one, you know, always good. Lore of Steel, you're usually in something like Perception, so you can get a few extra stats out of that. You could not necessarily go the heal direction. If you need a little bit more accuracy, you could do these two. Come back down here, or these three are the accuracy. You'll get 10 here, 20 here, and then up to 16 on that one. And then I just went, you know, like War Master. And like I said, been using this build for like a couple of years now, almost 2 years, and no problems at all. Perfect build. The stats I went, depends what you're doing. For me, these are my brutal and hard Hydra teams. I want to gear toward Nightmare because I know my team can do Nightmare. The only reason I'm not doing it is because my clan doesn't kill it. So definitely gear toward, you know, the level where you're at. Look up those if you need to and see what you need. For me, this is Uugo number 1. Uugo number 2 has actually surpassed Uugo number 1 because I think they're by player power. So she's been surpassed. But you're basically looking for speed, accuracy. Resistance is really nice to have. If you don't have it, it's not the biggest deal in the world, you know, especially if you're using like a buff tank. If you're using like decreased accuracy on the boss, there's a lot of things to consider because this is the biggest possible team in raid, right? Like you get 6 champions on Hydra, and so a lot of it is just your team, you know. Do you have increased accuracy? Do you have decreased accuracy? Do you have, you know, decreased resistance? Depending on the composure of your team, you could do different things with this. So it's not necessarily as simple as saying like, oh, you need X amount of resistance for Hydra. It would depend on what you're doing with it. And speaking of that, if I click this, right, I've got different numbers because I've invested into this through the Live Arena shenanigans. I only use this on Hydra. There's like nowhere else for me. Eventually, you know, I'll do like Fire Knight Hard and stuff and Curse City or whatever. But yeah, for now, these are Hydra for me. But going back to the Uugo, I think we need to decide on the plural of Uugo. Also, I was thinking like Uugai, you know, like octopi, that type of thing. So let's go with Uugai for now, but let me know about that one also. You can also see I've done both in the Relentless set. And then like we were talking about, you know, speed, make sure they're faster than your damage dealers also, so the decreased defense comes out before the nukes. Resistance is nice. Accuracy, you know, is a necessity. As much survivability as you can here. I did both in Relentless because block buffs is just it's a really, really, really like one of, if not the most important debuffs. And so just having the tiny little chance at getting that extra turn, cycling around to that quicker is really clutch. But again, this is a set you get from tournaments. If you don't have it, you know, things like speed, perception, supporty sets, you know, those are all still good. No big deal if you can't have it. Second Uugo, same thing. For the supplementary set, I did speed instead of perception. That's fine. So same, you know, same types of things we're looking for. A little bit of tankiness, speed, resistance, accuracy, enough accuracy to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. And then I haven't completed these yet because, like, again, I wanted to show you guys that I think a lot of things are good. For me, so like on the other one, we had gone for the heal angle, but here I did need a little bit of help for the accuracy. So I went for this stuff. Master Hexer, definitely want that one. And then I think I'm probably going to come down here and do resistance, unshakable, get another 50 res because, like I said, I want this to go in a nightmare team most likely. So I do need a little bit of help with the res. And yeah, I think that's what I want. And my team has increased accuracy, so technically I have far, far, far more accuracy than anyone would ever need. But yeah, the Masteries, like I always say, especially with like Hydra and things like that, it's War Master sort of becomes secondary, and you probably are going to want more resistance or more accuracy. So there's nothing wrong with coming down to the bottom of one of these trees and getting the extra resistance, getting the extra accuracy. Both of them, I have ranked, I pulled a rank 3 miracle heal, 2 of them, and I knew I would use them eventually. And so this is just the one, you know, we get a little bit of extra stats and stuff, that's nice. And then this is the one that has the chance to destroy max HP, which again is a Hydra thing because you've got the annoying Head of Decay that just slowly whittles down your max HP and it's pain. So just having a little bit of counteraction to that is very nice. Before I got second Uugo, I was using Pythion in my second team, and he does not have this blessing. And it was genuinely noticeable that max HP was not being healed. So I do think if you can get, you know, even just like a couple points in that, I do think it makes a difference and is noticeable. So let's go into a Hydra fight and just kind of see what this champion does, I guess. We're in Hydra. Like I said, I'm kind of doing Brutal right now. This is my team at the moment. And I think it also says a lot, if you look at this team, that they're all Legos except for Uugo. And, you know, this is not, what I'm doing here is not unique. There are a lot of teams that are just a bunch of Legos and Uugo because it's such a strong champ. So nothing unique here, a lot of champs. The reason I ended up leveling 2 is because I had this team. And then my second team is something like this. It's like this. And this. And that. Oh. And where is she? Gwendolyn. And maybe like this. So my second team looks something like this. And I don't even remember who I was using. Like, I think I was just using like Rat King or I don't know, maybe Royal Guard or something. And I just kind of looked at the team and I was like, you know, because the team is still a 1 key, right? Like pretty much put anybody here. It's still a 1 key because it's a strong team. But I was just looking at my team one day and I was like, team needs Block Bus. And I was like, oh no. And I was like, team needs decreased defense. And then I was like, oh, and then I look at Molly Tankard, who is a reviver, but not a healer. And I was just like, oh God. So I need someone who has block buffs, decreased defense, and a little bit of healing. So I need Uugo. So that is why I have 2 Ugos, because it's just such a it's such a combination of things that you can't get anywhere else, that like at the end of the day, the only person who's going to give you all those things, should you need them, is Uugo. So that would be my team. So basically we can go into the fight. I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about, what she's doing in the fight. If I can ever remember who's on my team, it's like this guy. He's pretty good. That one. Rosenberg. Okay. So this would be my team, my A team. And again, it doesn't matter if, you don't have, some of these champions are very strong. It doesn't really matter if you don't have them. Like, that doesn't change what Uugo's going to do here. Okay, so we'll come in, we'll lead with black debuffs, whoever you happen to have. And like I said, it doesn't matter if you don't have all of these, OP champions or whatever. What Uugo is doing, that's never going to change. Put a little HP burn on, yay. And then, all right, we're up. Where's Uugo? We're going to go in, we're going to place our decreased defense, black buffs. And just looking at these teams, if you don't, if you're still kind of new to Hydra, familiarizing yourself with it, there are a lot of really strong buffs that come out, and that's why this is such a necessary ability. So the rotations are different, so it's going to be a little different. But like right here on this rotation alone, we have this head who will steal your buffs. So you absolutely want to get the black buffs on that. And then additionally, you've got this guy who will place Ally Protect on all of the other heads. And then he is very, very tanky. So he will be kind of absorbing the damage for them. So you don't want that to go out either. Additional heads is the Poison Cloud head, who will place that really awful Poison Cloud buff on all the heads, which prevents them from being anything but a weak hit unless they're HP burned. So that is a very, very awful buff, especially because, if the buff goes out, Artok places HP burn on hit, so it's like I can't retroactively place the HP burn. So disastrous buff. And yeah, basically, oh yes, and then of course there's also the Head of Wrath, who's gonna get increased attack. He'll do so much damage to your team. He gets like black debuffs also, when you activate like his passive. So that's probably, oh man, I don't even know which one of those buffs is the worst. They're all so good. So that's sort of why this is so important. So needless to say, after all that, we will place our black buffs, and then I'm going to come in like with Newt, and I'll hit this guy because he's the tankiest one, so he'll go most damage. And, the whole team continues. And then as you can see, he's faster than my damage dealers, so that'll increase our damage, and so on and so forth. So that's sort of like what you're looking for in the team. Hydra is a super team effort. Everybody needs to be doing their job, and this is Uugo's job. And she's very good at it. Very, very strong champion. And then, I could show you the team, but it's the exact same thing. Who do we have? We have Tars. We have Gwendolyn. We have Molly Tankard. We have... Oof, this is always a test. Throw a Life Bane. And some HP burn. Okay. So this is, like I said, same thing, but, I just want to show you, like, you don't need those champs specifically. I guess we're leading with Uugo this time. So same thing. I got I think I got resisted over here. If that happens on an important head right off the rip, you might want to go ahead and just restart it. May as well first turn. So I would also restart here with only the one turn provoke on Molly, but... no big deal. And then I'm coming in with my decreased speed, Leech, and, we're trying to have all of the things here. Oops, wrong one. Sorry, I'm still kind of new to Tila, so yeah, that would be second team. I'm trying to capture all of the same themes as the first team. My black buffs, my decreased defense, my provoke, my decreased speed, my HP burn. That's what I'm trying to do in all of my teams. And then, like I said, this is just a super duper useful champ. It's the new Cursed City rotation, so I don't really have anything to show you there, but I've used this champ already in so many like random Cursed City fights. Like that's actually the reason why when you look at it, my Uugo has a level 12 rare blood shield ring on is because like I was just using her in like some Cursed City scarab fight, you know, and because she's got the heal, and you know, if I put the blood shield ring on, super useful champ, and also the block buff, so then the scarab can't steal our buffs. It's just like it's just an all-around useful champ in so many areas of the game, because when our block buffs decrease defense, healing and leech not going to be useful. You know, those are always going to be useful things. But that is my little guide on Ugo's. Ugo's. Sorry, we decided on Ugai. That was my little guide on my Ugai. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to let me know. And thank you for spending time with me. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.